Journey into a Magical World and Other Stories. Narrators Ashish Hajra and Sanchoita Bishwash. That Sacred Fairy. A Supernatural Story. First chapter. Since my childhood, one question used to haunt me again and again. What is next after death? Does demise mean an unperturbed and relaxed slumber? There will be no urgency to wake up one day. Does death mean the failure of heart? And then there will be no feelings at all. What will the soul do after death? Will the soul get reunited with the great soul or Paramatma? Or will it wander around as a ghost? Will there be a salvation, or will there be new rebirth? Is heaven and hell real? Are Yamraj, Chitragupta all imaginary or fabricated? Are they all real? All these types of questions used to make me think. It is inscribed in the Shastras that after birth there will be death and rebirth after death. Thus, births and deaths will continue to occur in a recyclic way. It is only salvation that can make us free from this cycle of death. That means this physique of ours is not the actual manifestation. The real truth is our soul. Our body is subject to decay, but our soul is immortal. The soul enters from one body to another, and finally it is liberated. Hence, when we roughly demand that we have souls in our bodies, it would absolutely be incorrect. Instead, we may opine that we have a body for our souls. Death is not something that one can enjoy. Abandonment of the self-delusion of our body is not an easy task. Even not a single person wishes to quit this beautiful world. Family, relatives, and pals, whom I used to make love for so long, it is beyond my wish to leave them for good. Yet, one has to leave all the illusions of this world and die one day. And that is the truth. When death entered my life, I was 45. At the time of my death, it seemed that a dark tunnel was rushing at me, and a few animals looking like cats seemed to run past me. I wanted to write down that queer feelings, but failed. Pointing to my son and daughter, I asked them to fetch an exercise book and a pen. But I had died before they fetched the notebook and pen. After death, when my soul was free from my body, at that very moment I observed that holding my dead body, my children were crying profusely. Second chapter. I was a scientist by profession. At a very tender age, I was famous throughout the entire world. I considered karma to be the religion of my life. Through my karma, I strove to make progress of the society. I used to try to stand by the helpless and the hapless. Maybe I was unaccustomed to worship any god or goddess. But every month, I used to donate a large portion of my earnings to the orphanage and the old age home. Green, serene, and a loving world was a dream to me. So planting tree was my love. I would sometimes try to feel God through meditation. I always tried to make religion free from superstitions. I have never been greedy for power. I wanted to work. I always deemed karma to be the religion of my life. Maybe I never actively participated in politics, but I always inspired the educated and wise persons to participate in politics. The people of this country have always failed to understand what is right and what is wrong. Hence, most of the time, democracy elects unfit person. I wanted to liberate or free politics from the clutches of the power-hungry people. But many of them did not consider my work to be praiseworthy. They tried to harm my work in many ways. The person who used to get accustomed to follow the politics of violence and the politics of division wanted to remove me anyway. They tried many a time to abduct me. Even I was attempted to be murdered for several times. At last, they succeeded. On that day, while I was returning after inaugurating an orphanage, I was attacked. Being severely injured, I was hospitalized. There, I succumbed to death. Third chapter. There is an infinite ferry between our world and that of the death. This ferry is between two worlds. Coming here, all the souls have to wait. Coming to the sacred ferry, I've been waiting for a long time. I thought my call would come, but it did not. Rather, no boat came forward to take me to it. Then have I come to the inaccurate ferry? This ferry looks very peculiar. A secluded island. All around it, there is a sea and only the sea. I could not see anybody around it to ask something, but it seems to me that someone is watching me from behind, following me. But that may be a mistake in my mind. A girl of tender age, maybe 18 or 19 years old, but I couldn't have the chance to view her face explicitly, like a shadow. But who is following me in this holy ferry? Maybe the illusion of my mind. I decided to meditate in order to calm down my mind. After sitting in meditation, long time has passed. I was feeling drowsy. Then when I fell asleep, I did not realize myself. When I arose from deep slumber, I sensed that I was not dead. But I also realized the fact that it was not my old body at all. It was rather my new existence. My soul, in contrast, was inserted into another new frame of body. But how is this possible? Science is now so developed. I too had researched in science for a long time. But I have never heard of such strange things. Is it possible to introduce soul to a foreign body? It was too tough to open my eyes. But when I opened my eyes, I saw a very beautiful and young girl. I asked her, "How have I come here?" The girl smiled very softly and informed me, "Oh, it's a long story. I will tell you later. I will take some cooked food for you. You must be very hungry, isn't it?" Looking into her eyes, I feel that she certainly had some spiritual power. There are so many things in this world that science has not yet been able to explain them properly. Our world of feeling is restricted. There is also a great world beyond our world of perception. One may be able to feel that world by applying that spiritual power. But how old is this girl? Maximum 18 to 19 years of age. But how could that girl acquire so much strength in her mere tender age? Why did she save my life? But I perhaps saw that girl somewhere. I can't recollect exactly where I have seen this girl. Maybe I saw the girl either at that sacred ferry or somewhere else. I cannot remember.
Honeymoon on the Moon, a science fiction comedy. Poltu has decided to marry Shravani and go to the moon for their honeymoon. It is about the world 100 years later, so going to the moon for honeymoon then is not a big deal. It will be a little expensive, that's all. Poltu calculated that all expenses included his bank balance will become half. He was told Shravani about going to the moon. Shravani is ecstatic. Going to the moon for honeymoon doesn't come everyone's way. Hearing all this, Poltu's father's face became gloom. He said, "Leave aside this wasteful expenditure and concentrate on the business." Poltu's mother contorted her face and said, while he must settle down after marriage, instead he is going to the moon for honeymoon. Whatever the others might say, once Poltu has decided to go to the moon, he will certainly go. He gives a damn to what others say. To go to the moon, first one has to get visa. So he has to take Shravani along. There won't be any problem to get visa. Poltu has made all arrangements. They are not planning to stay on the moon permanently. They will have a 2-month honeymoon and come back. But if they like the moon very much, if Shravani doesn't want to come from the moon, if he can get a job on the moon, then it's different option. Otherwise, Poltu will spend 2 months with Shravani for honeymoon on the moon and come back. Before leaving for the moon, both Poltu and Shravani will undergo medical test. Next, there will be training for 7 days where they will be taught everything so that they don't have any difficulties on the moon. The gravitational pull on the moon is 1/6 of that of the earth. How would they feel when they will be able to run faster, jump higher, and look at the earth from the moon? Those thoughts gave shudders to Poltu. There is no air on the moon, so one has to talk through ether waves. Both of them will have phones attached to their ears, so they won't have any problem. The rooms of the hotels, however, have air packed tightly. Morning and evening, that air is purified as well. Some unusual potted plants are placed inside the room, so one gets purified air always. Poltu has inquired with the tourism department that there are 3 categories of hotels: 5 stars, 7 stars, and 17 star. Poltu booked a room in a 5-star hotel. When Poltu and Shravani will step on the moon, the hotel staff will rush with garlands towards them to welcome them grandly into the hotel. But first of all, he will have to go to Shravani's house. Along with her, he will have to go to the visa office. As Poltu rang the calling bell of Shravani's house, someone pushed him from behind. Poltu jumped out of the bed. Till now he was dreaming. His mother was standing before him. Poltu pretended to be angry upon his mother. "Mother, you spoiled my beautiful dream. I was having a nice time planning honeymoon on the moon after marrying Shravani in a world 100 years from now."
My trip to Lataguri, a supernatural story. 1. I have been to Lataguri many times. From Jatra Prasada, Chapramari, I have seen rhinos, elephants, bisons, but from a good distance. I haven't had much of an adventure. I decided to go out into the Lataguri forest in the dead of night. I expressed my desire to my guide, Mr. Torufdar. Torufdar replied, "Look, a forest is very risky at dead of night. During daytime, a forest looks something. But at night, a forest looks something different, scary." I said, "I want to see that scary appearance of the forest. There's only one life to live." He said, "All right, in that case, you come on the next full moon, but vehicles would not go into the forest at night. You will have to move on foot." I replied, "I am game." 2. Next full moon, I reached Lataguri with a sense of adventure whirling in my mind. I don't know what's going to happen tonight. I had to put up at the Lataguri Resort, room number 209. At 11 in the night, I heard the calling bell ringing. I opened the door. I saw a girl of 18 or 19. She had a dusky complexion. I asked her, "Who are you?" She replied, "I'm Nilima, daughter of Mr. Taruftar. Today he is caught up with an urgent piece of work, so I will guide you in the forest." I became annoyed and said, "You are a small girl. You will guide me in the forest." I called up Mr. Taruftar, but he was out of reach. Nilima said, "Brother, you don't worry. I know the way inside the forest very well. You won't have any problem." I thought for a while and replied, "All right, let's go." Both of us set off for the forest. 3. I cannot express in words the beauty of the forest at night time. I saw a herd of bisons, a herd of elephants, and quite a few rhinos sleeping. Nilima said, "No other guide will bring you to this part of the forest. Everyone is scared of this part." I replied, "Yes, I have never come to this part." Nilima said, "Brother, please walk carefully. There are many poisonous snakes in this forest. One bite and you're gone." I said, "Is that so?" "Nilima, are you not scared here?" She replied, "I have nothing more to lose. Now this forest is everything that I have." I couldn't quite follow the puzzle in Nilima's words. The forest on the right appeared to be more scary. I said, "Let's go to that side." Nilima replied, "Brother, do not go to that side. There is a rogue elephant on that side. Whenever it sees any human being, it comes charging." The whole night, both of us savored the beauty of the forest. It was daybreak. The sun came up. Nilima said, "Brother, now I will have to go." Nilima led me up to the main road and then, without saying anything, she started walking in the opposite direction. I called out at her, but she did not respond. A weird girl. 4. I have returned to Lataguri Resort. Feeling very exhausted, I had fallen asleep. Suddenly, the calling bell rang. It was 11 o'clock then. I opened the door. Mr. Taruftar came inside. He said, "Mr. Adhikary, I'm extremely sorry. I couldn't come last night. Actually, my son had fallen very ill last night, so I had to hospitalize him." I replied, "I didn't have any problem. Your daughter Nilima had guided me inside forest very well." He suddenly lost his temper and said, "Are you making fun of me? Don't you know that my daughter had died 7 years ago from snake bite? Then she was only 19. I wanted to say something, but I was speechless. I fell unconscious.
Journey into a magical world. First chapter. Concept of multiverse. Whatever would happen, it was predestined. That is, the event will happen as it happened. The past cannot be changed. The events that will happen in the future will happen in any way. No one can change the future. Whatever would happen, it was predestined. If we try to change the past or the future in any way, then we must understand that it was the same way. That was universal programming. As long as there was only one universe, this rule of universal programming followed. But after having multiple universes, the same event can happen in different ways in different universes. We can even say that to make these events happen in different ways, the universal programming is messed up. Different universes are created to fix it. Second chapter. Shreyoshi's diary. Shoham was the only son of our headmaster, proficient in studies, good at sports, handsome to look at, very polite in conduct and behavior. Everyone likes Shoham very much. We, the three girlfriends of his, also like Shoham simultaneously, but the three of us never unbosomed ourselves to Shoham. Then came that day when I was 18 years old. Shoham had proposed to me. Then, at the juncture of youth, these sorts of feelings are very keen to everybody's mind. That very day was the happiest day in my life. It is indescribable to express the feelings of mine. Then a year passed. It was spent with great enjoyment, as of each and everybody brings a type of heavenly bliss to me. I love Soham from the core of my heart. I used to feel a type of strange attraction towards him. Even after death, I could not free myself from the magical attraction. I died 7 years ago. At the age of 19, I died trying to save my boyfriend Shoham. That day when I died, my parents cried a lot. Shoham also cried a lot that day. He did not eat anything at night. That day, I was sitting beside Shoham with my subtle body. I was trying to turn my hand over his head, and as if I wanted to entreat him, "Please don't cry for me in this way. I am still with you by your side. I will always be there with you." But Shoham could not hear me. He even could not feel my existence. I tried to stay with Shoham each and every moment. While Shoham was taking his breakfast in the morning, I would sit next to him and stared at him with wide eyes. I went to school with him. Coming back at home, when he was sitting on a chair to study, I used to glare at him sitting just beside the next chair of him. When at night he fell asleep in his bed, it was nice to see him. When it was torrential rain outside the room, when there was sound in the tin, and when the croaking sound of frogs and the call of cricket was heard outside the room, sitting beside Shoham, I used to enjoy the rain. Shoham never felt the existence of me, but the memories of mine are gradually being deleted from the mind of Shoham. I realize that nowadays he doesn't think of me as he used to do it before. How is he able to forget me so easily? I became so much surprised. Time may cure everything. The power of time is great. After my death, my parents have become very lonesome. Now thinking of me, they cry a lot. I was the only girl child in my family. Sitting beside them, I can hear all their agony and sufferings for me. But they also couldn't feel the existence of me like Shoham. I often ask myself, why didn't my soul get liberated? Why didn't I get reborn? After my death, I could see neither heaven nor hell. But why did it happen to me? I don't know. Maybe some unsatisfied desire is hindering me to get liberated. Maybe due to my untimely death, I have to wait for my rebirth. Third chapter. Several years passed like this. I wandered here and there like a nomad. Then one day, a surprising incident happened. I was sleeping on a branch of a small tree next to an old bamboo grove in our village. Suddenly, a small bird ran away with a small piece of paper. I opened the letter and read it. I realized that my invitation came from a miraculous world. That means I won't be reincarnated, I have been released. The next day, I was all dressed up. That strange, miraculous bird came to me again. I took my delicate form and sat on the back of that bird. Then how many rivers, how many mountains, how many seas crossed. I felt like I was entering another world. The world is strange. No regrets about not getting anything anywhere. Everyone seems to have everything. The king of that wonderful world himself came to meet me. He gave me a variety of food. I was very happy that day. But sometimes I remember Shoham very much. Then my heart became very sad. Why my love remained so incomplete? What was my crime? Rajamashai is very busy, but one day he came to meet me. I told him about my upset. He said to me, "Let me take you for a walk today." I said, "Yes, let's go." He took me to a field where some kids were playing football. He called the children near. He said, "You have played a lot today. Now you go home and rest a little." Rajamashai took the football from the hands of those children and gave it to me. He said to me, "Now, look at this ball a little better." I said, "Okay." I got a good look at the ball. Taking a closer look, I was surprised. In that ball, I saw millions of galaxies, stars, planets, satellites. Rajamashai smiled. "Do you recognize?" I said, "No, I don't quite understand." Rajamashai smiled and replied, "Your universe. This time you realize how much you were upset about such a small thing." I was so surprised to hear him that the ball fell from my hand. I saw several such balls scattered around the field.
Mahananda Express. Often some unbelievable incidents occur in life which the mind fails to accept. I won't be able to forget that day ever. At that time, I was working in Agra. I had taken the Mahananda Express from Kishanganj to go to Agra. The train was late by 12 hours. I boarded the train and found it to be completely vacant. On the seat opposite mine was seated a pretty girl. She appeared to be 18 or 19 years old. From her looks, she seemed to be a Nepali. Probably she has come from Darjeeling. I did not care much about her. I don't know what she would think. So I started reading the book on palmistry that I had with me. I noticed that the girl was frequently glancing at me from the corner of her eyes. Taking me by surprise, suddenly she came and sat beside me. She looked at me for some time and then she said, "Excuse me, I have a request. Will you please read my palm?" I replied, "Yes, of course." I touched her hand. It was cold like ice. I couldn't find enough lines on her palm. Only 3 or 4. I said, "The lines of your palm hasn't yet formed properly." Meanwhile, a few drunk ruffians were going past us. They saw us and asked, "What's going on here?" I replied, "Nothing, I'm reading her palm." 2 well-built, muscular ruffians sat on either side of me. One of them said, "Come, read our palms." Another 2 ruffians sat on either side of that girl. I understood that the girl was feeling very uncomfortable. One of the ruffians grasped one hand of the girl and the other told her, "Hey, give me your mobile number." Those men were trying to molest the girl in various ways. The train was completely vacant. I was not a hero of Bollywood films that I would be able to rescue the girl from these 4 stocky ruffians. Still, I tried to save that unfamiliar girl. Suddenly the girl said, "I want to go to the toilet." One of the ruffians said, "Come on, I will also go to the toilet with you." The eyes of the girl were blazing in rage. The girl, with one thickest ruffian following her, walked towards the toilet. My heart was trembling with the anticipation of what was to follow. Suddenly, there was a loud, savage cry. All of us rushed in that direction. That ruffian was howling, "Save me! That girl is a snake! She has bitten me on my hand. She has jumped out of the moving train. Save me!" None of us could believe his words. Can such a thing happen? However, within a short while, the ruffian died from the action of snake venom. Police came and interrogated me. I told them, "I do not know that girl. We became acquainted on the train. Thereafter, whenever I board the Mahananda Express, I wonder if I would ever chance upon that wishful snake again.
The day of the Holocaust. The day of the Holocaust would be the last day of human civilization. All of this has been pre-decided in the wheel of time. The creation is very unhappy, which is why Lord Vishnu, Brahma, the creator, and all the other gods and goddesses came to meet the Lord of the Lords, Mahadev, on Kailash mountain. Lord Vishnu requested Mahadev, O Lord of the Lords, Mahadev, we all want the day of Holocaust to be delayed by 1,000 years. Mahadev replied, But why, Narayan? You already know that in the wheel of time the day of the Holocaust has already been fixed. Narayan requested once again, O Mahadev, we also know that you are the destructor of this universe. If you want, you can delay the day of the Holocaust by 1,000 years. This is why we all have come to your refuge. Mahadev replied, In your last 3 incarnations as Ram, Krishna and Buddhadev, you had tried to show the world a new direction, but today the species of humans have forgotten everything. Brothers are fighting each other. There is no respect towards the elders. After the invention of a device named computer, the human species is considering itself parallel to God. God has become just a source of entertainment. No one has the devotion. Everyone keeps demanding something or the other from God, but no one wants to work accordingly. Someone wants money, while someone else wants a power or position. The humans have forgotten how to find happiness in the small things of life. A terrible Kali Yuga has arrived. The human species, for its own selfishness, is destroying that very nature in whose womb they have evolved. Hence, we want to destroy this creation completely, and once again we three devas will create a new world. Narayan replied after careful evaluation, Mahadev, you speak truly, but I, Vishnu, the guardian of the universe, want to offer another chance to the human species. In my Dashavatar, I will reinstate Dharma by redestroying Adharma. This time we will cause such an untoward incident that human species will definitely get a new direction. Hence, I request you to delay the day of the Holocaust by 1,000 years. Mahadev addressed the Brahmadev this time. Hey Brahmadev, you are the creator of this universe. What do you want? Brahmadev replied, Yes, Mahadev, I have created this universe and the human species. But today it is no more under our control and we are embarrassed about it. But even then, we want you to give the human species another chance. Mahadev replied after contemplating something, Okay, Narayan, if you want, then I will definitely give the human species another chance. But if these humans keep destroying nature like this for their own selfishness, then nothing can be done. Vishnu replied, Do not worry, Mahadev. We all will definitely pay attention to this issue. Everyone thanked Mahadev tons, and this was how the day of the Holocaust was delayed by 1,000 years. Say, Har Har Mahadev!
Bibhu in the dream world. My name is Bibhu, 10 years old. I sometimes have strange dreams. For example, I had an unusual dream that afternoon. It was a type of queer dream. A white tiger, a yellow elephant, and a black lion came to see me. I also saw a green color monkey. They had come from various planets, since we do not find such creatures on our planet. Seeing the new animals, I had a lot of fun. The most amazing thing was that we could understand their language and they could understand us. We all gathered to take part in a big meeting. Various animals from various planets appeared. Just as we have debate here in our parliament, there was also a debate going on there. A group of animals were protesting against us. We human beings are oppressing and doing injustice to their relatives in this world. What they were complaining about was not at all a false charge. A few days ago, the white tiger came to this world for a walk. After walking back from here, he reported that we, human beings, are oppressing other species on this earth so much that their existence was endangered and they were going to extinct. According to the rules of the food chain, if an animal kills another animal for food or in self-defense, we do not consider it being a crime, since we transfer energy in this process. But human beings kill animals for no reason. Human beings also think themselves to be very intelligent. They captivate any animal without reason. According to the law of the universe, it is a crime. A red-color rhinoceros was presiding over the meeting. He wanted to know the reason from me. I could not understand what to say. Yet I replied, human beings are struggling for their existence. If any other species are endangered or extinct in that struggle, what shall we do? Is it our fault? Only the most deserving will survive and the incompetent will perish. Now the green-colored monkey said to me, here is your mistake. You think that competition is the key to life. That's wrong. If you want to survive your existence in this universe, make cooperation the key to life. We are all dependent on each other in this universe. The yellow elephant and the black lion then supported the monkey. Looking at me, the red-colored rhino told, you go to your world, go there and teach everyone what I have taught you. Then suddenly I woke up from my sleep. I was feeling uneasy. I cannot forget the angry look of that white tiger on me. A few days later, I saw a white cat at my house. Similarly, he is looking at me with angry eyes.